Mr. Kazmark, will you open the meeting, please?
Mayor, I'd like to call the regular meeting of the Elmwood Park Mayor and Council for January 2nd, 2014 to order at 8 p.m. On roll call, council members Coletti,
Here.
Dombrowski,
Here.
Martino,
Here.
Patagano,
Here.
Bonsino,
Here.
Catamagna,
Here.
Mayor Mola.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Will everyone please rise for our prayer and flag salute? O God, our Father, we ask you to bless our meeting with we trust in fatherly care and protection. Please remove all selfishness and prejudice from our hearts and plant therein a keen sense of justice and a greater love for you and our neighbor. Guide us in our deliberations so our decisions will always please you and bring peace and happiness to our community. Amen. Whereas Chapter 231 of the Public Laws of the State of New Jersey requires the commencement of the very meeting statement by the presiding officer, now therefore be advised, the meeting requirements of this meeting have been met by publishing an annual notice in the Record of Hackensack, the Herald News of Woodland Park, and by posting such notice in the office of the Borough Clerk as well as in a public place within the municipal building, and by notifying interested citizens. Said notice was published on January,
December 20th.
which was that?
December 20th.
December 20th, 2013.
Mayor, this evening, under the approval of minutes, we have the December 19th, 2013 regular meeting.
May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Mr. Catamagna, second.
Second.
Mr. Patagano, any discussion? Call the roll.
On roll call, council members Coletti,
Yes.
Dombrowski,
Yes.
Martino.
Oh, abstain. Excuse me.
Martino,
Abstain.
Patagano,
Yes.
Bonsino,
Yes.
Catamagna.
Yes.
Motion carries. Mayor, at this time, we'll move on to the selection of council representative to the planning board for the year 2014, Resolution 09-14. Whereas a nomination was made by Councilman, we need a motion,
Frank Caramagna.
and seconded by
Joe Dombrowski. Aye.
for Councilman Catamagna to serve as council representative to the planning board. Now therefore be it resolved that Councilman Frank Catamagna is hereby named the council representative to the planning board for the year 2014. The roll call, Mayor.
Roll call.
On roll call, council members Coletti,
Abstain?
Dombrowski,
Yes.
Martino,
Yes.
Patagano,
Yes.
Bonsino,
Abstain.
Catamagna.
Yes.
Motion carries. Moving on to appointments, Resolution 10-14. Mayor, I'd like you to confirm that you're waiving your right to nominate for borough attorney this evening.
That is correct. And
Appointment
if the council wants to nominate, that's fine.
Appointment of borough attorney. Be it resolved that the mayor and council of the Borough of Elmwood Park appoint, we need a nomination for borough attorney.
I nominate Giuseppe Randazzo.
Second,
Second.
Mr. Patagano, Mr. Martino.
As borough attorney for a period of 1 year, term ending December 31st, 2014. B, and the same is hereby confirmed.
Any discussion?
Yes, Mayor, I have a brief comment. I guess in my 5 years as a councilman, I've had the opportunity to work with Brian Giblin, and Mr. Giblin provided excellent legal counsel to the governing body and to the borough. I'm going to abstain tonight only because I just met Mr. Randazzo, but I do look forward to working with him in 2014.
If
Thank
I
you,
may,
Mayor.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, hold on. School's closed? Thank you.
I don't go to school anymore.
If I may, Mayor?
Yes. Yeah, you finished, Mr.
Yes.
Preston?
What I don't understand is why we're changing our attorney. Brian has served us very well, especially in the tax appeals. And as far as I'm concerned, I've seen him do a wonderful job. And I know there's 2 council members here that last year voted for him. What I would like to know is what has he done in the last year that they've lost confidence in him? Maybe one of the 2 sitting councilmen from last year can explain that to me.
Anybody?
You want me to say something, Mr. Coletti? Normally, when the majority or the council is Republican, they nominate the Republican attorney. But I remember Mr. Spazieri was with us, he was changed. Then we had Mangano, he also was changed. You guys voted against him. And now we have the opportunity to get, nothing against Brian Gibbelen. I think he's a great man. I think he's a good attorney. Nothing negative about him. He's a great guy too. So the reason why we changed because the people in Emerald Park elect us to make changes, and we have the opportunity to appoint a young and also his resume is incredible. We went over the resume, and there's nothing against Brian Gibbelen. We just want to make that change.
So what you're saying, Mr. Caramagna, that this is politics, has nothing to do with the job that the person was doing, and it's purely retribution for the fact that there was 10 years ago John Spazieri, and then there was Lou Mangano. I just don't get it. I don't understand if everything is working fine, the ship is running smooth, why make a change? And I don't buy into politics that you take somebody who's qualified, doing a great job, and then get rid of them.
Excuse me, Councilman Coletti, I'd like to address you for a second, if I may. If you've noticed, there's a resolution on here that we're looking to appoint Mr. Giblin as our special tax attorney. We do not think that Mr. Giblin is a bad man, okay? But we also have two very, very good experts at what they do for what we were paying one attorney. So we are keeping Mr. Giblin in the process. It's not that we don't like Mr. Giblin, and it's not just politics. You've made your changes when you had the majority. We now have the majority, and we're making the changes that we feel is best for Borough. That's it.
So if it's the adage, if it's not broke, don't fix it, does not apply here? You're talking about an attorney that isn't proven here. He might be proven elsewhere, but he hasn't been proven here. We have an attorney that's been proven here.
Right.
So that's why I have a very difficult time comprehending what you're saying.
And we've acknowledged that, and we believe that his tax appeal counsel would suit this borough best. He will be our tax appeal counsel.
Call roll, please.
On roll call, Councilmembers Coletti,
I abstain.
Dombrowski,
Yes.
Martino,
Yes.
Petagano,
Yes.
Bonsino,
Abstain.
Catamagna.
Yes.
Motion carries. I believe Mr. Randazzo is here with us
Mr.
tonight.
Randazzo, will you please come up? We've got the seat all warmed up for you.
Moving on to the bond council appointment to the Borough Council, I hereby nominate and with your advice and consent appoint Stephen Roga Esquire as bond counsel for a period of 1 year, term ending December 31st, 2014. Respectfully submitted, Richard A. Mola, Mayor. Appointment of bond counsel. Be it resolved that the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Elmwood Park appoint Stephen Rogat Esquire as bond counsel for a period of 1 year, term ending December 31st, 2014, and the same is hereby confirmed.
Motion, please.
So moved.
Mr. Coletti, second.
I say.
Second, Mr. Catamagna. Any discussion? Call a roll, please.
On roll call, Councilmembers Coletti,
Yes.
Dombrowski,
Yes.
Martino,
Yes.
Petagano.
Yes.
Bonsino.
Yes.
Catamagna. Motion carries. To the Borough Council, I hereby nominate and with your advice and consent appoint Paul Lurch, RMA, as Borough Auditor for a period of 1 year, term ending December 31st, 2014. Respectfully submitted, Richard A. Mola, Mayor. Appointment of Borough Auditor. Be it resolved by the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Elmwood Park that the appointment of Paul Lurch, RMA, as Auditor for a period of 1 year, term ending December 31st, 2014 be, and the same is hereby confirmed.
Motion, please.
So moved.
So moved.
Mr. Boncino, second.
Second.
Mr. Martino, any discussion? Call a roll, please.
On roll call, Councilmembers Coletti,
Yes.
Dombrowski,
Yes.
Martino,
Yes.
Petagano,
Yes.
Bonsino.
Yes.
Catamagna.
Yes.
Motion carries. To the Borough Council, I hereby nominate and with your advice and consent appoint Boswell McClave Engineering as Borough Engineer for a period of 1 year, term ending December 31st, 2014. Respectfully submitted, Richard A. Mola, Mayor. Be it resolved by the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Elmwood Park that the appointment of Boswell McClave Engineering as Borough Engineer for a period of 1 year, term ending December 31st, 2014 be, and the same is hereby confirmed.
Motion, please.
So moved.
Mr. Coletti, second.
Second.
Mr. Vancino, any discussion?
If I may, Mayor?
Yes.
I've known Boswell Engineering for quite some time now, and they've been doing an outstanding job. They have a large firm, over 200 people working for them. It's sort of a one-stop shopping with them. They don't go out often. All the engineering is right there, and they've kept this town running very fluently in the last, let's say, 4 or 5 years. I know when I wasn't sitting here 4 or 5 years ago, there was another firm, and from what I've seen and what I understand, it hurt the town to a certain degree, and Boswell came in and righted the ship. So I'd like to see my colleagues stay united on this subject, and hopefully we can maintain what we have.
Any other comments?
Yes, Mayor. In the last 5 years, I've had the opportunity to work with Boswell Engineering. And as my colleague, Councilman Coletti, has mentioned, they provide thorough support on all major projects within the borough and have the necessary expertise within their house to answer all of the engineering needs of the borough. So again, I look for everybody to support this appointment. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Any other comments? Call the roll, please.
On roll call, council members Coletti,
Yes.
Dombrowski,
No.
Martino,
No.
Pettigano,
No.
Vancino.
Yes, and Mayor, can I make a comment? I guess I see where the vote's going, and similar to Councilman Coletti's question, there must be an issue. Maybe it was the evaluation that we did of the professionals. I know we put a committee together to evaluate the professionals, but there must be some deficiency that was noted somewhere in the engineering support we received in 2013. And maybe I'd like to understand that, or maybe the town should understand that, since we're all in this together.
And if I may add to that, Mayor, we have
I think we get a
two new,
chance to vote.
we have 2 new councilmen here that really have no experience with Boswell, and why, I don't understand that, and they've seen the town running smooth. I don't know where they're going with their vote, but I hope it's not a nay.
Continue the roll.
Vancino,
Yes.
Catamagna.
No.
Motion fails.
If I can comment on that, there's a month that this particular appointment lasts. It goes until February, 30 days, and then the majority on the council can select another engineer. I hope they would have reconsideration of that, because Boswell Engineering has been appointed by the school board for their problems and their projects over there. They've done an excellent job, and I see no reason why. If it's financial, I just would like to caution them that, hiring somebody for $50 an hour who takes 2 hours to do the work, or hiring somebody for $100 an hour who does it in 1 hour, it's the same thing. So I don't think that money should be a problem, but the consistency of the Boswell firm. We did this 6 years ago, and we brought in another organization, another engineer, and it cost us substantially on that. So I wish they would reconsider at the next meeting and maybe appoint Boswell.
Mayor, may I say one?
Yeah.
Can we get a comment, maybe at least for the public, from the majority, at least their rationale for voting down?
Anyone
Boswell?
on the majority want to comment on why you're changing?
At least so we could understand it going forward.
Perhaps we should really, as the mayor said, maybe at the next meeting, maybe you will know the full reason why we want to change. I don't think I want to discuss this now, because we went over 3 applicants, and we look at them carefully, and perhaps, there is substantial savings if we are the other people. But at this time, I'll leave it the way it is now.
Well, Councilman Caramaggio, with all due respect, you made a decision tonight, so I would think you'd be able to explain to the residents the rationale for your decision.
Right, but
And
we-
you seem, I'm not finished, you seem to allude that there'll be a savings based on your review of the applications. What was that savings? Was it an hourly rate
between,
difference? Can you explain it to us?
The savings, the way we figure is between 10 to 15%.
And that was documented in their proposals?
Yeah.
If I may, you voted for Boswell last year, I believe, right?
And I did it before.
So where's the 10 or 15% savings? How come you didn't realize that then? Why is it this year that you're realizing the 10 or 15% savings?
Mr. Coletti, you were in the committee to check the engineers, and I saw that you just wrote numbers. You didn't even open up the package to read the resume.
You saw that?
Yes, I saw that.
I believe that should have been confidential.
No, the
Where everything was on the
packet
table.
was closed.
Your package
I'm
was
sorry?
sealed.
You were there?
Shot.
Both of you were
Yes.
there when I was filling it out?
No, no,
No.
no.
So how do you notice then?
We're not asking, no, no, no.
No, we didn't say that.
One at a time, please.
You vote, you just to put numbers there without opening up the package.
How do you know that?
I saw that.
You were
What's on the
there?
table? What's on the table right here?
You were there when I was filling out
No,
the application.
No, I didn't say that.
So actually, your statement is false. It's
No, it's not
unfounded.
false.
How do you know? You have a camera in the
Mr.
room?
Dombrowski can tell you, we
Yeah,
went over
please
each
tell me.
one of those pages.
Please
In
tell me.
your package that you vote, you put a number on, wasn't even open, was sealed
It had the
shut.
original seal on
The
it.
seal was there. We know this, so you vote really, he didn't even know what you voted for.
Well,
I'm sorry.
I find it amazing that you know all this and
What?
you weren't
The
there.
truth.
You know, That's what I find.
Who were here to tell us?
The RFQ that was sent in by the engineer was in a sealed package. The original seal was still on the envelope. It was never opened.
Well, if that's the truth, is that true, Keith?
You did it in my office. I do believe you looked at every package.
Thank you.
I have another question
So
for Councilman.
we're just talking in the air here. That's what we're doing.
I have Mayor, one more question?
Yes, please.
Yeah, just to follow up on the rate differential, you said there's a 10 to 15% savings in engineering rate. What in the RFP package convinced you that the effort, the work effort, was going to be the same or less? How
Well, see,
how do we know that the
You
work
are
effort?
prolonging this
I'm not-
discussion.
I'm not.
Why don't you,
Wait,
I
one
wasn't,
at a
I'm
time,
not
one at a
finished,
time.
and I wasn't on the committee to evaluate the packages. You did, and I'm asking you a question, and I just appreciate an answer for the residents. What in the package guarantees us that we won't see a work effort that's more than 10 to 15%, that offsets that's
no, there's,
perceived
I
savings?
don't think there's guarantee for that. I agree with you. No guarantee.
So really, there's really no guarantee that we're going to save 10 to 15%.
You're right.
So then what's your rationale then for changing the
Well,
engineer?
According to what we saw, and that's what we based this on. The numbers, we compared the numbers, and that's what we did. Now, is it a guarantee? Hey.
So it's really a kind of a
they
misguided
stated-
assumption on your
they
part to
should-
make this
they-
change.
Excuse me, Mr. Monsino, if they put it down, they should stick with that. If they find other things to increase the rate, we don't know that.
I'm not saying the rate's going to increase, but I'm going to say that the bottom line number is going to be the same, right? What?
Councilman Boncino, I was part of the,
One at a time, please.
okay.
That's all right, I'm done.
You finished, Mr.
Sorry.
Zonzi? Mr. Dombrowski?
Councilman Boncino, I was part of the three council members that reviewed each RFQ.
Right.
The hourly rate, what we would be getting from the engineers was substantially less.
What was
So-
it? What was it?
Excuse me?
Yeah, what-
As Mr., it ranged anywhere from 25% savings all the way down to 10% savings. There will be a significant savings to this community by an hourly rate, and it is our duty to the residents of Elmwood Park to give them the best deal. Can we say it's going to be a guaranteed 10 or 15%? No. But on an hourly rate, when you look hour by hour, rate by rate, it is our duty to make sure that our residents get the cheapest price and the best service that they can get. And that's what we felt, and that's why we're voting the way we vote.
Mr. Brownkowski, you're a businessman, and you know as well as I know that you can get a firm to come in with a less per hour figure, but instead of doing the work in 1 hour, they'll do it in 2 hours.
And if that does happen, it's a one-year appointment, ladies and gentlemen, a one-year appointment. And if we find that that's happening, they won't be here next year, okay? But it is our duty to make sure that you, the taxpayer, are getting the best program and coverage for your money. I believe that the percentage that we will save, you will be very happy with.
So the last 4 years that or I should say the last 2 years that Mr. Caramagna and Pellegrino, they've been voting for Boswell. They really shouldn't have been voting to retain him.
I can't answer what they should have done 2 years
Well,
ago
maybe
or a year ago.
you're correct. Maybe I should address them.
Mr. Pellegrino was elected last year, and I wasn't re-elected last year. So last year, we voted for that. Mr. Pellegrino voted along with all of us, you know? But, you know, the guy said, you want to make this a long discussion, because you cannot take a no for an answer. It's just I don't know if it's the Republican way, my way or no way. You got to accept it. We need a change. We are going for the change. That's it.
Yeah, well, I
No
understand
discussion.
that, but you keep bringing
We cannot-
politics into this.
If you want to talk about this.
And I-
One at a
we
time,
have the
please.
We have the next meeting, close meeting, we can discuss it, we can prove it to you, the numbers.
Well, I'll be
But it's
looking
something
forward to it.
They should have seen before. Eventually, he didn't see the numbers. We still don't know the answer.
So I have one more
Look, I
question.
have no more comments anymore.
So I have one more question. I guess I understand how you approached it, Councilman Dombrowski, Councilman Caramagna, from a rate differential. I just want to know, what measure did you use to assess the quality? I guess you mentioned to the residents that you want to get the best bang for the buck, using my words. Just what in the package did you use to assess the quality of the engineering services?
We also base on references, okay, and the quality. And some people give us good references. It is today, we have another month to, right, Mayor? So
You
we
have
have
it.
a plenty time to prove it to you, and Mr. Caleri in the back, the differences, okay?
I'm open for that.
You have a month, hey,
I'm open for that.
Okay, I just expect that we are able to articulate that to the residents. Okay.
I just have one question on it. When you talk about there'll be a substantial savings, usually they charge 12% or 11% or 13%. Do you have a percentage they're going to charge on their work product if they're given a contract to do something?
we have a rating, the rate, how much they charge.
Yeah.
And we compare apples with apples.
And they charge, what's their rate?
Man, there's a different.
No,
type of
the
job.
new one that you want to put in, is there a rate that they want over?
We have a rate, yeah, we gotta show you.
Okay,
at the
we'll
next
discuss this again in
Discuss it
another
in work
meeting?
session.
Yes.
Okay, that sounds fair that you want, I do want to emphasize that the school board even hired Boswell Engineering to go over their product, and they've been here almost as long as I've been here, except for the 2 years or 3 years that the Democratic majority changed and hired a company called T&M, and we paid substantially for that, and they know the town. Mr. Peter Tenkate is excellent. He's been with us almost 20 years now, I think, as our engineer, and we don't have to start him from scratch. So I hope you would consider that when you redo it. Thank you.
To the Borough Council, I hereby nominate and with your advice and consent, appoint Mark D. Maria Esquire as Borough Prosecutor for a period of 1 year, term ending December 31st, 2014. Be it resolved by the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Elmwood Park that the appointment of Mark D. Maria Esquire as Borough Prosecutor for a period of 1 year, term ending December 31st, 2014 be, and the same is hereby confirmed.
Motion, please.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Second, motion was made by Mr. Coletti, second by Mr. Voncino. Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
On roll call, council members Coletti,
Yes.
Dombrowski,
No.
Martino,
No.
Petagano,
No.
Vancino.
Again, I see where this is going. Mr. DiMario has served our borough, has an excellent rating as prosecutor. Our violations department, it's a department that works very well, and I'm not sure why the need to change again. My vote is yes.
Catamagna.
No,
I would like to make some comments. I hope that this will be a month's appointment. I hope there's some reconsideration here. As Mr. Voncino has indicated, he has perfect recommendation or commendations from the county court, who comes in and evaluates our local courts. And for all the years he's been here, there's never been a criticism of our court. In fact, our court has raised as much as $1 million in fees over the last years. I don't know why he's being rejected. Can anybody tell me why he's being rejected? What has he done wrong? And the reason I ask this is the judge would like him, the violations clerk would like him, everybody wants him back, and it's the court. I would hope that the council would just leave the court the way it is and not get involved. Mr. Caramagna and the Democratic majority 6 years ago put him on. I didn't put him on. I went down to the judge and to the violations director. I said, how's it going? They said, it's fine. I reappointed everybody they appointed. I don't want to have any dealings with the court. It's the judge's court. If he likes what's going on, violations likes what's going on, the judge in the county likes what's going on, we're going to tell him, we're taking you out. And the worst part is, in December, the two councilmen that are here, Mr. Caramagna and Mr. Pedagano, gave him a raise. When we had the raises, they gave him a raise. Now we fire him. Can anyone just indicate to me why he doesn't qualify to be prosecuted again? The reason I'm not pushing him because of any other reason, the fact that he's been there and the court is running good, and I don't think this council should get involved in the court. Let them do their own thing. We have nothing to gain by putting a new prosecutor in. Can anyone explain or give me one reason as to why you want to take him out? We're just going to take him out for no reason?
You mentioned that the two Democrats give him a raise. He didn't say the rest of the council give them a raise.
Yeah, they all voted for him.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no
Just
question
make it
about
clear.
it. The
And sometime later-
the Republican majority at the time felt he was doing a good job, and they gave him a raise.
Listen, Mayor,
2%,
it's
like
time
everybody
for a
else got.
change, Mayor.
I'm sorry?
Time for a change.
I'm sorry?
Time for a change.
It's time for a change.
Yeah.
Even when he's doing a great job, we just change it. Again, please, you have a month, think it over. It's the court. Leave the court functioning as it is. We haven't had any problem. Leave it alone. I don't get involved in the court. Thank you, Mr. Catamagna, Mr.
To the Borough Council, I hereby nominate and with your advice and consent appoint Elizabeth J. Cruces, Esquire, as alternate Borough Prosecutor for a period of 1 year, term ending December 31st, 2014. Respectfully submitted, Richard A. Mola, Mayor. Be it
Motion,
resolved by
please.
the Mayor and
Oh, I'm
Council
sorry.
of the Borough of Owen Park that the appointment of Elizabeth J. Cruces, Esquire, as alternate Borough Prosecutor for a period of 1 year, term ending December 31st, 2014, be, and the same is hereby confirmed.
Motion, please.
So moved.
Mr. Coletti, second.
Second.
Second, Mr. Boncino. Any discussion? She has worked at the court as a deputy alternate prosecutor. If Mr. Di Maria is not there, she has taken over the position, so I think she should continue in that vein. Call the roll, please.
On roll call, council members Coletti?
Yes.
Dombrowski?
Yes.
Martino?
Yes.
Pedagano?
Yes.
Boncino?
Yes.
Catamagna?
Yes.
Motion carries. To the Borough Council, I hereby nominate and with your advice and consent appoint John Dutch Esquire as Public Defender for a period of 1 year, term ending December 31st, 2014. Respectfully submitted, Richard A. Mola, Mayor. Be it resolved by the Mayor and Council that the Borough of Elmwood Park appoint John Dutch Esquire as Public Defender for a period of 1 year, term ending December 31st, 2014. Be, and the same is hereby confirmed.
Motion, please.
So moved.
So moved.
Mr. Dombrowski and
Second.
Mr. Martino.
Okay.
Call the roll, please.
On roll call, council members
Any
Coletti?
discussion, excuse me, any discussion? Call the roll.
He's doing a good job.
Okay.
Coletti?
Yes.
Dombrowski?
Yes.
Martino?
Yes.
Patagano?
Yes.
Boncino?
Yes.
Coletti.
Coletti again?
I'm sorry, Catamagna.
I can
I'm
get
used
two
to
votes
you-
on this?
I'm used to you being last.
Yes,
Bob.
yes, yes, yes.
I can't guarantee that's not going to happen a few
Mr.
times.
Casbar, please, no two votes.
Catamagna.
Yes.
To the Borough Council, I hereby nominate and with your advice and consent appoint Robert J. Cassione Esquire as Public Defender for a period of 1 year, term ending December 31st, 2014. Respectfully submitted, Richard A. Mola, Mayor. Be it resolved by the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Elmwood Park that the appointment of Robert J. Cassione Esquire as Public Defender for a period of 1 year, term ending December 31st, 2014 be, and the same is hereby confirmed.
Motion, please.
So moved.
Vonsino, Coletti, discussion?
Doing a good job.
I'd like to say, Mr. Mayor, you brought the point that the Democrats aren't keeping the courts the same. And the last two after this next vote, you will see that the appointments, we are keeping part of the courts the same.
Part of the court the same. These are public defenders. They're not the prosecutor.
But you know what?
He's the head man.
Every person has the right to be innocent until proven guilty. So they have just as much responsibility to the community than our prosecutor.
Well,
Joe,
if
the
I
only-
can, excuse me, if I can, Mr. Dombrowski, every person has the right to be innocent until proven guilty. You haven't proven to me that Mr. Di Maria should be replaced when the county court comes in and investigates or evaluates the violations department, like every other violations department in the Bergen County. They gave him excellent ratings. We're sitting here for the first, yourself and Mr. Martino, for the first year, first week, and now we're saying, we don't care what the county court has to say. We're replacing him for whatever reason.
And if I may add, your comments, Joe, they're always bringing in politics. These are people's lives, their welfare, and if they're not doing the job, so be it. But you can't answer with the two Democrats, and it has nothing to do with that. This is, we talk about the welfare of this town. You want the best people possible, and when you have it, don't lose it.
Mr.
Caswell.
On roll call, council members Coletti,
Yes.
Dombrowski,
Yes.
Martino,
Yes.
Patagano.
Yes.
Bonsino.
Yes.
Catamagna.
Yes.
Motion carries. To the Borough Council, I hereby nominate and with your advice and consent, appoint Brian T. Gimlin Esquire as Special Tax Appeal Counsel for a period of 1 year, term ending December 31st, 2014. Respectfully submitted, Richard A. Mola, Mayor. Be it resolved by the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Elmwood Park that the appointment of Brian T. Gimlin Esquire as Special Tax Appeal Counsel for a period of 1 year, term ending December 31st, 2014 be, and the same is hereby confirmed.
Motion, please.
So moved.
Coletti,
Second.
Vonsino, discussion? Call the roll, please.
On roll call, council members Coletti,
Yes.
Dombrowski,
Yes.
Martino.
Yes.
Patagano.
Yes.
Bonsino.
Yes.
Catamagna.
Hallelujah.
Yes.
Motion carries.
If I may, and Mr. Attorney, no disrespect to you, but if he's good enough to do the tax appeals, I would hope he's good enough to be borough attorney, but I'm glad we have him.
Mayor, moving on to the consent agenda, we have Resolution 18-14, payment of bills, Resolution 19-14, confirmation of escrow checks, Resolution 20-14, confirmation of payroll, Resolution 21-14, appointment of police towers for the year 2014, Resolution 22-14, appointment of licensed water operator, the Block Environmental Services, Resolution 23-14, appointment of licensed sewer operator, the Block Environmental Services, Resolution 24-14, appointment of municipal planner, Calker and Calker LLC, Resolution 25-14, appointment of risk management consultant, Professional Insurance Associates, and Resolution 26-14, appointment of public agency compliance officer for the year 2014.
Motion, please.
So moved.
So moved.
Mr. Vonsino, second.
Martino.
Mr. Martino, any discussion? I'd just like to read, we have Resolution 2114, appointment of police towers to tow cars. We have Arrow Towing, Riverview Towing, Belfait Towing, Nurchis Towing, David's Towing, Citywide Towing, Park Auto Towing, and BDJ Towing. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people who are involved in the towing. The police chief sets the time limit on all these towers. They all get an equal amount of time to do the towing, and I have to indicate to you, and I feel very proud of it, when I first got on as mayor, one of the things I did was not give it to one person. We share it. Everybody gets their chance at the towing, and we don't have one person making all the money. We give it out to everybody, and these people have to be within a certain distance to have the storage of their automobiles. Call the roll, please.
On roll call, council members Coletti,
Yes.
Dombrowski,
Yes.
Martino.
Yes.
Patagano.
Yes.
Bonsino.
Yes.
Yes.
To the Borough Council, I hereby nominate, and with your advice and consent, appoint Shirley DeVito to the Board of Health for a period of 3 years, term ending December 31st, 2016. Respectfully submitted, Richard A. Mola, Mayor. Be it resolved by the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Allen Park that the appointment of Shirley DeVito to the Board of Health for a period of 3 years, term ending December 31st, 2016 be, and the same is hereby confirmed.
Motion, please.
So moved.
Valentino,
Second.
second. Martino. Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
On roll call, Councilmembers Coletti?
Yes.
Dombrowski?
Yes.
Martino?
Yes.
Pettigano?
Yes.
Valentino?
Yes.
Catamano?
Yes.
Motion carries. To the Borough Council, I hereby nominate and with your advice and consent appoint Ray Boyle to the Board of Health for a period of 3 years, term ending December 31st, 2016. Respectfully submitted, Richard A. Mola, Mayor. Resolution 28-14, appointment of Board of Health member. Be it resolved by the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Allen Park that the appointment of Ray Boyle to the Board of Health for a period of 3 years, term ending December 31st, 2016 be, and the same is hereby confirmed.
Motion, please.
So moved.
Valentino, second.
Second?
Coletti, discussion? Call the roll, please.
On roll call, Councilmember.
Wait, let me just make some discussion on that. Ms. Boyle is a member of the Board of Health. She has been eminently involved in community sharing. She's done an excellent job, so I wish everybody would support her.
On roll call, Councilmembers Coletti?
Yes.
Dombrowski?
No.
Martino?
No.
Pettigano?
No.
Monsino?
Yes.
Garamalia?
No.
Motion carries.
Anything that she's done wrong, gentlemen, may I ask? She's done an excellent job bringing other communities in. We have Lodi, we had Garfield, just moving into Garfield, and she's been a mover on that. Has she done anything wrong as far as you can see, or just want to change? She's a nurse, so we can't say, listen, she doesn't have any qualifications.
Obviously, it looks as every appointment that we choose not to make, we're going to get an argument on. And I'll just make a comment to say that the council here has done their due diligence. We're making the appointments that we feel are best for the town. However, we have 30 days to discuss this in work session.
Good.
Instead of being it drawn out on television. And if you like, after we all agree, we'll make an announcement to the public. But right now, let's try to get through these.
Mr. Dombrowski, I've been here a few years. The television's been here a few years. I don't play to the television.
I'm not
I'm not
playing
that
to television,
good-looking.
Mr. Mayor, not at all.
I'm
I
not
think
that
the
good-looking that I
taxpayers-
play to the television. I appreciate...
snowing outside, Mr. Mayor.
Excuse me, you wrote a letter, you want to respect the mayor. I have it in my file right here. I will use it whenever we can. I have it right here.
Fair game. Fair game.
Where is...
I'm the one that's supposed to disrespect.
I've got the letter here. Whenever we have disrespect, I will bring it up. I appreciate, I really do, that there will be some discussion on this at a work meeting in the future, because she has a 30-day time period before she's replaced or not replaced.
Mr.
Thank
Mayor, may
you.
I say something?
Yes.
At least you put a little levity in here for today.
I put
Halfway
levity
through-
in for 40-some years.
Well,
That's
for
why I'm
today.
here.
I haven't been here for that long.
Oh, then just, if I may, my word has experience to it. And you know what experience is, mistakes you've made in the past. So I'm using my experience and saying, give some consideration. She's not a Republican. She's not a Democrat. I don't know what she is, quite frankly. She doesn't come to any of our meetings. Just a good lady who's a nurse on the planning board and done a good job and should be rewarded by staying on. But we'll discuss that again, according to what's been said. Mr. Kazmark?
To the Borough Council, I hereby nominate and with your advice and consent appoint Abby Morello to the Board of Health for a period of 3 years, term ending December 31st, 2016. Respectfully submitted, Richard A. Mola, Mayor. Resolution 29-14, appointment of Board of Health member. Be it resolved by the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Elmwood Park that the appointment of Abby Morello to the Board of Health for a period of 3 years, term ending December 31st, 2016 be, and the same is hereby confirmed.
Motion, please.
So,
Mr. Martino?
I'm sorry.
no, that, you're
Second?
fine. It's fine. Second.
Second, Mr. Coletti. Any discussion? I just have one comment. Is that the way we spell a name? I thought it was A-B-B-E.
That's correct.
That's
It's
correct.
A-B-B-E?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Can we
It's
make
been-
that?
It's been addressed with the Borough Clerk, and they're changing that.
Here comes the teacher out of the mayor.
Oh, that's a long time
We
ago.
were going to put Abigail.
Call the roll, please.
Councilmembers Coletti?
Yes.
Dombrowski?
Yes.
Martino?
Yes.
Pettigano?
Yes.
Monsino?
Yes.
Catamano?
Yes.
Motion carries. To the Borough Council, I hereby nominate and with your advice and consent, appoint G. Byron Morgan to the Board of Adjustment for a period of 4 years, term ending December 31st, 2017. Respectfully submitted, Richard A. Mola, Mayor. Resolution 30-14, appointment of Board of Adjustment member. Be it resolved by the Mayor and Council that the Borough of Elmwood Park, that the appointment of G. Byron Morgan to the Board of Adjustment for a period of 4 years, term ending December 31st, 2017 be, and the same is hereby confirmed.
Motion, please.
So moved.
Mr. Vancino, second.
Second,
Mr. Coletti, discussion?
if I may, Mayor, I've known Byron Morgan a long time. When he was chief, we worked together. I was a councilman at the time. I found him very amiable. His role on the board, from what I hear and what I see, has been stellar, and I feel there's no reason for a, quote, change in this specific item here.
You say chief, police chief, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Any other discussion? Call a roll, please.
On roll call, Councilmembers Coletti,
Yes.
Dombrowski,
No.
Martino,
No.
Patagano,
No.
Bonsino,
Yes.
Catamania.
No.
Motion fails. To the Borough Council, I hereby nominate, and with your advice and consent, appoint Frank Baglieri to the Board of Adjustment for a period of 4 years, term ending December 31st, 2017. Respectfully submitted, Richard A. Mola, Mayor. Resolution 31-14, appointment of Board of Adjustment member. Be it resolved by the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Elmwood Park that the appointment of Frank Baglieri to the Board of Adjustment for a period of 4 years, term ending December 31st, 2017 be, and the same is hereby confirmed.
Motion, please.
So moved.
Coletti, second.
Second.
Second? Mr. Catamania?
Yes.
Yes. Any discussion? Call a roll, please.
On roll call, Councilmembers Coletti,
Yes.
Dombrowski,
Yes.
Martino,
Yes.
Patagano,
Yes.
Bonsino,
Yes.
Catamania.
Yes.
Motion carries. To the Borough Council, I hereby nominate, and with your advice and consent, appoint Joseph G. Benamini to the Board of Adjustment as alternate number 1 for a period of 2 years, term ending December 31st, 2015. Respectfully submitted, Richard A. Mola, Mayor. Resolution 32-14, appointment of Board of Adjustment member. Be it resolved by the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Elmwood Park that the appointment of Joseph G. Benamini to the Board of Adjustment as alternate 1 for a period of 2 years, term ending December 31st, 2015 be, and the same is hereby confirmed.
Motion, please.
So move.
Second,
Mr. Catamania, second by Mr. Coletti. Any discussion? His middle name is Gino, is that right, Mr. Catamania?
Yeah.
Would you change, just
Mayor, we-
add Joseph Gino Benjamini? Everybody knows him as Gino, so I'd like the resolution to have that.
Okay. I do know that last year, we actually had to re-adopt the resolution because the name submitted was just Gino. That apparently is a relative, but we'll note the middle name.
Well, I don't, I questioned Joseph when it was on, and I didn't know it was Gino, so now we have it correct. Call a roll, please.
On roll call, Councilmembers Coletti,
yes.
Dombrowski,
Yes.
Martino.
Yes.
Patagano.
Yes.
Bonsino.
Yes.
Catamania.
Yes.
Motion carries. To the Borough Council, I hereby nominate, and with your advice and consent, appoint Suzanne Roberson to the Library Board for a period of 5 years, term ending December 31st, 2018. Respectfully submitted, Richard A. Mola, Mayor. Resolution 33-14, appointment of Library Board member. Be it resolved by the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Elmwood Park that the appointment of Suzanne Roberson to the Library Board for a period of 5 years, term ending December 31st, 2018 be, and the same is hereby confirmed.
Motion, please.
So moved.
Mr. Coletti, second.
Second.
Who made second then?
Patagano.
Mr. Patagano? Any discussion? Call a roll, please.
On roll call, Councilmembers Coletti,
Yes.
Dombrowski,
No.
Martino,
No.
Patagano,
No.
Bonsino,
Yes.
Catamania.
No.
Motion fails. To the Borough Council,
Excuse me, 1 minute. Mr. Patagano, you made the motion to put it on, then vote against?
know, I'm sorry.
Okay. Okay.
To the Borough Council, I hereby nominate, and with your advice and consent, appoint John Adamo to the Rent Leveling Board for a period of 4 years, term ending December 31st, 2017. Respectfully submitted, Richard A. Mola, Mayor. Resolution 34-14, appointment of Rent Leveling Board member. Be it resolved by the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Elmwood Park that the appointment of John Adamo to the Rent Leveling Board for a period of 4 years, term ending December 31st, 2017 be, and the same is hereby confirmed.
Motion, please.
So moved.
Bonsino, second. Martino, discussion? Call a roll.
On roll call, Councilmembers Coletti,
Yes.
Dombrowski?
Yes.
Martino?
Yes.
Patagano?
Yes.
Bonsino?
Yes.
Catamania?
Yes.
Motion carried. Mayor, that concludes my portion of the agenda. On to mayoral appointments.
Yes, I'd like to indicate that I'm going to nominate Harry Decker to repeat on the planning board for a 4-year term, and Anthony Cherto as an alternate on the planning board for a 2-year term. And I am also going to nominate Miles Garvey as a member of the Recreation Commission, 5-year term, Sandra Ballesteri, member, 5-year term, and Wallace Snow is elected for a 5-year term.
Mr. Mayor, may I make a comment, please?
Yes.
Respectfully, I'd like to bring to your attention that we do have a Borough Ordinance 2-37.1, where the rec board will be chosen by the mayor with the advice and consent of the council. And in the past, we've done it where the rec board has always been voted on by the council, and I'm just curious as to why it's not being allowed to be voted on by the council this year.
Because it is controlled by the state, and the state has the Recreation Commission, and the state indicates that, and they preside over the council's
If I may-
bylaws.
Okay.
And if the attorney wants to look at it again, he can look at it.
If I may, can I ask that we hold off on these appointments until our new attorney gets an opportunity to look at the statute, as well as our ordinance, and instead of rushing into something, we have 30 days, at least give our new attorney an opportunity to look at the statute?
Well, I'm going to keep it this way. If the attorney finds that this can be done, as you indicate, and I disagree with that, I think that the state statute supersedes local ordinance, then it can be turned.
Mayor, how come we
And they
never...
don't meet
we
until,
didn't-
they don't meet until after the first work meeting we have, and I'm sure that the attorney will come up with a,
How come we never done this before? It's been forever and ever, since I've been here. You nominate the people, the council votes for, they appoint them. Now
Well-
you change, you go with the state statute, and you avoiding why was then an ordinance, board ordinance form? Then you don't go by the board ordinance.
because at the time.
Whenever it's convenient for you, you may go to the state, you may go to the Supreme Court, but all these years that I've been here with you, we always vote.
You're absolutely right.
Am I right or wrong?
You're absolutely right.
And why this year make a difference?
Because I found out that the state supersedes it.
When did you find out?
Last year.
You mean you've been a mayor for 40-some years?
It was never
You just
put-
already,
it
no,
would- it-
it's been in the books forever, man.
Yep.
And you, then we formed, and you were a councilman, if I understand.
Yep.
When you, right? And then all of a sudden tonight you change that.
No.
See, you cannot do this, Mayor, because you cause a problem. We want to work with you. We give you almost to 90% of these appointments, but you refuse to work in good faith with the majority of the council. That's not democracy, Mayor. People like us, we want respect to people, Wilma Park. We come here to vote the way we're supposed to vote, not the way you always want to vote. That's not fair. You let it go for many years. You didn't read the status of the state for 40-some years. All of a sudden, you read it now. It's very convenient. I'm sorry, that's wrong. I think you should hold off on this. Let's talk about this.
Mr. Caramagna, if I may, talk about fairness, I'm putting Sandra Ballesteri on that you wanted on, so I'm putting her on. And also, to be fair, I never had a problem with the Board of Recreation all the years I've been here, and the council voted on it. And then when I discovered that it's my appointment, I'm using what the state has given me prerogative to do.
Well,
So
I
I'm
don't agree
appointing
with that.
these people. If this recreation board is going to be a problem for everybody, and maybe that's some of the negatives that are being used against some of these other people, if I change my mind on recreation, if that's the case, does does Boswell get back on? If I change here? You know, is that the point? I hope I'm not being pressured to change my 2 appointments, okay, by not appointing other people to the board, to the
Mayor,
various boards. So it is, the attorney is going to look it over.
Right.
If he comes back and says, listen, local ordinance supersedes the state, well then, you know, we'll try to go along with it unless somebody wants to bring it to court. But we'll see what happens then. This will stand for now, and we'll see what he's got to say. I think that's fair.
But
Council reports.
I didn't see, Mayor, I didn't see our assignment as a councilman. Did you give it to us? Or not yet?
I will give it to you at the end of my report.
You will give it, yeah,
Yes.
okay. I'd like to see that because.
Oh, I'm going to hand it out.
Because you made me an offer. Don't take the planning board and I give you the police. That's ridiculous. You don't do that.
Okay.
Because I request the police, you're supposed to be in good faith, ask us. I've never been 14 years on the council. I ask you once, no, I want to be in the police. No problem. Now there is a problem, we say, oh, don't take the planning board, I give you the police. Mayor, you don't do deals like this with me. I'm sorry, I believe in democracy and freedom, no dictatorship.
If I may, Mr. Caramagna,
Wait a minute, wait. Mr. Caramagna, we have a gentleman sitting up here on the council, Mr. Boncino, who has been police liaison for many years. I'm the one who picks the liaisons. I asked him if he would step down and put you on. He said he really liked being liaison to the police, but he would do that, as you, council president, can take it. I spoke to you in private, and you made it public, so I'll make it public. And I said, Mr. Caramagna, Mr. Boncino would like to be on police. You want to be on police.
No, hold on, Mayor.
Wait a minute, let me finish. And then I said to you, he would like to be on the Board of Adjustment appointed by the council. And you said, absolutely not, you want to be liaison to the Planning Board. Excuse me, I said Board of Adjustment.
Okay.
Planning Board. And I literally said, Frank, do me a favor. Let Lou sit on the Planning Board, and you take police. You're the council president. I want to give you something that you wanted, and you turned it down. Well, now, and you said, give him whatever he wants. So I'm giving him what he wants.
Mayor, may I?
Yes.
You want to twist the
Pass.
words, Mayor. Out of practice.
One of the things, Mr. Caramagna, that I'm sorry about is I spoke to you privately. As a matter of fact, I asked Mr. Martino and Mr. Dombrowski to leave the room because I thought we could have a conversation. Now I'm twisting words. If you want to do it right now, change the vote, let Mr. Boncino be the liaison to the planning board, I'll change my mind and we'll
Mayor?
put you on the police.
This was vote, they appoint me to be on the planning board. It was
Yes.
not your choice.
Well, it is your choice. If they appoint you
No,
on
it
the
was our
planning...
choice, not yours.
If they appoint you to the planning board, you can say, thank you, gentlemen, I don't want it, and pick somebody else.
That's okay.
You can change your mind, and if you want to do that right
I'm
now,
going to change my mind.
so then don't complain if I give them police.
Yes, Mayor, it's bad news.
Mr. Mayor, if I may.
Yes.
Go back to the Recreation Commission.
Yes.
Since we agreed that we're going to allow the attorney to look over it for the next several days, can we, I respectfully again ask you to hold the appointments until after the attorney reviews the statute. It's a matter of a week. As we said, the next Thursday is the.
Withhold
next-
what?
Withhold your appointments for the rec board until after the attorney again reviews the statute.
Oh, well, he has to do, they're not going to meet until middle of the month.
Which in all the right reasons why you should say yes to what I'm asking you. All I'm asking you is to hold off your appointments publicly until after our borough attorney reviews the statute.
It doesn't make any difference. If in fact he says that it can be done, there isn't going to be a planning board the Board of Rec meeting until the middle of the month. So it doesn't make any difference. It doesn't make any difference.
If I may get back.
And I like to put Sandra Ballesteri on because she's been asking to be on that board for years. I had a woman on the board, and she resigned, and I'm looking to place another woman on the board, and Sandy's always been interested in recreation, so I put her on, which was one of your considerations to put her on. So it's Mr. Garvey and Mr. Noah Zalecki that's a problem. One of the questions I will have is recreation taking over everything, that we're not making appointments because of recreation? Go ahead, Mr. Coletti.
Thank you. In the past, and I've been here, I'm in my 12th year, not consecutively, the way the mayor always handled it, very fairly, he would call and say, if I was to choose you to be liaison to this or committee, do you have any problems with it? And he would get an answer, one way or another, and that would be the end of it. But his practices in the past have always been fair, as you'll probably see when we dish out the balance of the committees that we're all going to be representing.
And quite frankly, when I give out the liaison and the committee reports, if there's anyone here who disagrees and wants me to review it again, I've always done that and tried to keep everybody happy. I did get a list of people who were suggested by the majority, and Mr. Coletti indicated that he's been here 12 years, right?
I'm in my 12th year.
And the only committee he reported on the list that I received was to be liaison to the homeowners. If you look at my report when I give it, you will see that everybody has a chairmanship and everybody has 2 liaison positions. It's an equal number for everybody. They all get the same amount, except I think Mr. Catamagna has 4 positions, everybody else has 3,
Wow, good pay.
okay?
All right, you mentioned it's been 12 years, and I told you 14 years.
Yeah.
He granted what he wants, he don't grant me what I want.
What am I
That's
granting
true.
him? What am I granting him what he wants?
What did you want? What did you say before? He asked you for something?
Mr. Voncino asked.
No, no.
I-
what about Mr. Galante
I'm going to
before?
grant you what you want. You want police? I'll give you police. I have it down here. As a matter of fact, this is going back to 2009, when the Republicans had the majority. 2009. Fire Commission, fire liaison. Mr. Catamagna, that's a prominent position, the fire. Police, Mr. McLaughlin. We had a 4-2 Republican majority, and who did I put on 2 of the more accessible liaisonships? The 2 Democrats. Boy, did I hear about that. Boy, did I hear about that. So I'm doing what I think is fair, and I've tried to be fair all these years. And I'll make the offer again. If you want police, I'll put you on. Ask the council to take you off planning board and let Mr. Vicino be happy. That's democracy, Mr. Dombrowski.
Your democracy.
Yes. You take, you know,
Who's
and I
democracy,
asked,
man?
I told you, Mr.
Man, you gotta get
Catamagna.
used to, Mayor, that people want to change, and you cannot be the dictator.
I'm asking
of
you
this guy.
publicly.
I don't want to talk about it because I get upset.
I'm gonna ask a
I want to wish you
rookie
Happy New Year, Mayor.
I'm going to ask a rookie question. Why would he have to give up his seat on the planning board to take over the police?
Easy, I explained it, you weren't listening to me. Mr. Voncino wanted police because he's been there for a few years now.
Right.
And he said, if you're gonna put Mr. Catamagna on, can I have something that's got some meat into it? And he served as an alternate to the planning board before he got elected. He said, I would like to be on the planning board. I have the time, I want to go on. So I asked Mr. Catamagna, I'll give you police, let Mr. Voncino have the planning board so that we can have both sides happy.
I don't think that was exactly said to everybody other than now, but, okay.
Oh, no, I haven't said it to anybody except Mr. Catamagna.
Yeah, but
When I met with him in the back,
planning
You
board-
indicated that I didn't hear you say this, and I didn't hear you say that till just now.
I mentioned it a little while ago.
Okay.
Anyhow,
I just mentioned it a little while ago, didn't I,
Mayor,
folks?
you did not appoint me to the planning board. I was elected to the planning board.
And I'm asking you to pick somebody else. Let them vote for Mr. Voncino to get on, and I'll give you the police. We can,
If I go against
we can
the-
discuss this again. We can discuss
I
it
don't
again.
think so.
I would like to put you on police. Where are we, Mr.
Council
Yes,
report, council reports, Mayor.
Council reports? Mr. Catamagna?
Happy New Year. I hope you guys drive safely.
Mr.
And they called me, by the way, home, they say there's no school tomorrow.
Yes, that's what the policeman just
They
said.
called me, there's no school tomorrow.
But you retired, so you don't have to go.
So, oh, thank you, I have a day off again. Son of a gun. Thank you. I have another.
Thank you. Mr. Dombrowski?
Yes. First of all, I'd like to welcome Mr. Rendazzo as our borough attorney. Ladies and gentlemen, as you know, today it is snowing outside. Please drive home carefully. One of the things that we as a council would like to get across is that social media is getting more and more. I recommend anybody who has a smartphone to go on to www.nixle.com. You will get all of the area as well as the Elma Park emergencies. You'll get, as a matter of fact, if you heard some of the fire engines just going, maybe there's something going on right now, but you'll get severe weather reports. You'll get anything that's going on that's of importance to the community. So you will get it automatically sent to your cell phone. It's www.nixle.com. Just put in your area code, 07407, and you will get Elma Park, Lodi, Saddlebrook, and the neighboring boroughs. And that's it, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Boncino?
Yes, Mayor. I feel my name was thrown around for quite some time. I feel like I have to say something. I'm not sure what I have to say. I've been police liaison for a number of years now, and I enjoy working with our department, Chief Johnson and his staff. My understanding was that Councilman Caramagna was interested in becoming police liaison, and you know, I'm relatively easygoing, and I offered that I would step aside and let Councilman Caramagna have it. I felt, though, that I would want something where I could use my engineering skills in service to the borough, and I thought that the planning board might be that opportunity. But I did understand that Councilman Caramagna was also interested in the planning board. In the past, I know the mayor has always put these committees out there, and you know, if there was a disagreement, he asked us to kind of discuss it amongst ourselves and come up with a workable solution for the town. I do understand that Councilman Caramagna was voted on by his colleagues to be on the planning board, and I'm fine with that, but I'm also fine with representing the council to the police department. On that note, a note I made yesterday, I'll repeat it today again. For a 90-day period, starting yesterday, it's a one-way westbound on Gilbert Avenue between Elm Street and River Drive. Realize there's no school tomorrow, but be aware of that traffic change over the next 90 days and be careful in proximity to the school. I believe it's snowing outside, and our parking ordinance is in effect. Tomorrow's an odd day, so you will be able to park on the odd numbered side of the street. Be aware of that, and we have the grace period between 8 and 10 a.m. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Mr. Martino?
Wow. Basically, I've been a councilman for about 35 hours now.
That long?
Yeah. And I'm a pretty easygoing individual. I think I get whoever in the audience and the gentleman here know me. So the only thing I'd like to say is I'm going to try to do the best for the town. I hate to say this, politics aside. I ran not for myself, but for the people that I represent. I have a 90-year-old father, a 25-year-old stepson, and 2 children, 10 and 9. So I guess I run the gamut of the town, and hopefully, in the next year or two, somebody will say I'm doing a good job.
I'm sure that will happen. Thank you. You finished?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. That's Pettigano.
Thank you, Mayor. First of all, I'd like to wish everybody a Happy New Year. Unfortunately, we're coming into the new year with Hercules, so I want everybody to be very cautious. Also, everybody should look in on a neighbor, especially if you have an older neighbor, somebody who can't get out, maybe needs a quart of milk, some bread, somebody who needs their possibly generator started up, God forbid. Hopefully we don't have that kind of problems. This is a small town, and we need to all work together. We are trying to work together with everybody here. There are consequences to elections, and just like a good football coach, he's going to bring in the best people he knows, the best people they feel will do the job. Sometimes that's replacing somebody with an equal. And that's what we feel we're doing here, is we're replacing people with equals, people we feel we can work well with, and we hope that they can work well with all councilmen here, politics aside. Also, your dogs and cats need to be licensed by the end of this month. Again, as yesterday I mentioned, we will be having an audit this year. So to all the people who want to hide their cats and dogs, well, we're going to find them. And we're going to put a license on them. And it's actually much better because if they run away, we know whose they are and where they go. Again, Happy New Year. I look forward to working very hard for the town of Elmwood Park and working with the councilmen.
Thank you.
Mayor, can I ask Councilman Pagano a question?
Sure.
Are you going to put the license on my dog?
Well, if they, I'm not personally going to do it,
I'd say no.
but.
I agree. I agree.
Lou, I've seen your dog. I don't think anybody wants to put the license on your dog.
What kind of dog do you have?
Very large shepherd that he walks every morning.
He rides every morning. He doesn't walk, he rides.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. Coletti?
Yes, I'd just like to expand on what Mr. Patagana was saying in reference to a new coach coming in. He brings his team, and sometimes he doesn't because there's no reason to do so. But I understand that, and I agree with you. The only thing I don't understand is that when we're making these changes, they're not substantiated. And if you can substantiate it, I would buy into that, but using the word change to me is not substantiating it. So I do ask my colleagues here in the next 30 days, please, I'm from Missouri, show me. And if you're right, so be it. I notice we have 3 former councilmen in the audience tonight. I'd like to just make name of them. We got Rich Strawinski, and we got Tom Conboy. Tom, it didn't take you long to get back here, huh?
I'm not home. I'm in my living room. This is my-
Please, no comments from the audience.
This is Channel 79.
Please go to the mic if you want to speak.
I think you did a little...
Bob, no comments, and then they can speak if they want.
Okay, well, I can speak, all right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I think you're still celebrating from New Year's Eve. You haven't had a chance to drink enough water yet, so to speak. And we got Mr. Kenny Van Rye, who was my colleague for many years. We served. And I think, Kenny, you had one of the longest stays on council, 17 years. Was there anybody longer than that, Mayor?
19.
19? Wow. Good times. Good man, Kenny Van Rye.
Anyone else you want to read?
Well, we have all the board members from the
Yes.
school here, but I'll end up having to announce everybody else in the room here, and it'll take another half hour.
Thank you.
And one thing, I neglected to welcome my 2 colleagues at the last meeting we had, the reorganizational meeting, and I apologize for that. But Joe, welcome aboard, and Steve, welcome aboard. This is it. This is what we're going to look forward to.
No, we don't. It's good.
And hopefully, it's all going to at one time, there'll be synergy amongst us all. And so this is like, I guess, like the
Can you
beginning.
spell synergy?
Can I spell it?
Yeah, that's a big word for me.
Oh, no.
No, I'm kidding.
Well, go home and pick the dictionary. The dictionary will help you out there.
So we get fun.
Google it.
Anyone else?
Through you, Mayor, I have a short report tonight. I recognize that it's snowing out, and however, this video won't be seen for a few days, either streamed live on the Borough website or on Cablevision. However, I want to report to the council that I met today with our OEM director, Scott Kartz, and our police chief, Tom Johnson, relative to how we are going to educate the public during a snow event for the rest of the winter season. Our Facebook page, which has been up since shortly after Hurricane Sandy, is frequently updated, both with weather-related updates and community updates. So I would encourage residents to link up to the borough's Facebook page so that they can be updated during a storm. However, starting tomorrow, we will begin the process of a reverse 911 phone call to everyone in the community prior to a snowstorm. This way, we can educate the residents under the current ordinance exactly which side of the street parking is allowed on overnight, and then where the cars should be switched to on the next morning. We're hopeful that all of the data with regard to Elmwood Park's phone numbers will be uploaded into the system by tomorrow morning. Chief Johnson has already recorded a message to go out tomorrow morning, and tomorrow will be the test run, so to speak, for that system. Our plan is to send out at least 2 reverse 911 phone calls to everyone in the community prior to the snowstorm, so that we can get some clarity for the residents as to whether they should be parked on the odd side or the even-numbered side of the streets in prospective snowstorms.
Thank you. We've talked about politics up here and being political. I withdrew my nomination to the borough attorney, and I think that deserves some credit. I said to the majority, appoint who you want. Here we have him, we accept him. I think he's going to do a great job. Ladies and gentlemen, does anyone in the audience who wishes to speak, please come up to the microphone. Give your name and address.
Phone number.
Rich Trowinski, 42 Walnut Street. The other day, or last week, Mayor and Council, Happy New Year. I passed the library. I noticed the paving was being done to patch the lot. First question, is it a little too cold, being in construction all my life, to pave when you're 30 degrees and below, or 40 even sometimes, is deadly. But put that aside. Before the end of the year, it was passed by the council, $9,000 or $10,000 to pave the parking lot. And you know I was adamant against that, not paving it, but using the taxpayer monies to the tune of $10,000, even $1, when we have $1.1 million or $2 million sitting in the fund for the library, which was paid by you, the taxpayers, over the years. Now, the argument's going to be it's earmarked for an addition. It's going to be, the plans are not fully done yet, although there is a capital plan in place. It's not fully stated, and I've heard this over and over, whatever's left over will go back to the town, which it should go, and it can only go back to pay down your taxes. Mayor and council, I think that was wrong. That's less than 1% of that money that you took, that could have came from that budget instead of the taxpayers' money.
Thank you. Anyone else who wishes to be heard?
Okay, Glenn. It's just you.
Excuse me?
No.
Happy New Year, everyone. Rich DiLorenzo, 166 Hillman Drive, also Board of Recreation. Just a couple of comments regarding the appointments. My current employer for 35 years is a national civil engineering firm. And Boswell McClade is highly regarded in municipal engineering. And a lot of my colleagues at my firm know Mr. Pete Tenkate, and he's a well-respected engineer. Myself being on the Board of Rec, working with Boswell over the last 7 or 8 years, they've done an excellent job with our projects, very timely on their answering of any questions. I know I've worked with Mr. Tenkate and his colleagues on some projects, and they've been very, very supportive in getting back to the board with their decisions. Boswell is, as you know, very, very prominent in Bergen County as far as municipal engineering. They are an excellent firm, and I would hope you would reconsider that. Number two, on Ms. Boyle, I would hope you would reconsider her appointment to the Board of Health. She is a very prominent registered nurse. For a number of years, she was the school nurse over at St. Leo's. And she did an excellent job in that regard with the children in the community. She's done an excellent job over a number of years in her position, and I think you're doing an injustice in not reappointing Ms. Boyle to the Board of Health. She's a community member for a number of years, I believe a lifetime resident of the town, and I think you've missed the boat on that as well. With regard to the mayor's appointment to the Board of Recreation, Councilman Caramani, I'm sure, and Councilman Pettigano, you were on council last year, and myself and one of my colleagues, Mr. Calabro, was appointed by the mayor for 5 years, and that statute was brought to your attention at that time, last January. So I don't know why all of a sudden, and Mr. Kadmark, if I'm misstated, I believe we did get a communication from then Borough Attorney stating so. Is that correct?
From Mr. Giblin?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I don't know if it was in writing, but he did guide the council accordingly last year.
Thank you. So I believe that was the case. So the mayor's correct. I think you'd be wasting the attorney's time, but that's your opinion, and that's the way you're going to go about it. That's fine. Also, just one last thing. Councilman Pettigano, I came 3 straight meetings, and you met me in the stands, and you assured me that you would attend our last recreation meeting, but you failed to attend. I just want to know why.
Well, because I didn't feel like being in the middle of a spectacle,
Well,
which
you
I,
came to me.
which I expect, but you brought it here.
No, it's not a spectacle. It was to...
One at a time, please.
You're
It
gonna,
was-
you're gonna see me all year.
Well,
I'm gonna
you
be at
came-
every
you
meeting,
came to me,
I
sir.
promise.
You came to me, sir, and you said you would come and explain your position to the board, to the
Right.
Board of Rec, and everyone was looking forward to seeing you and greeting you and listening to see what you had to say, but we didn't get a phone call, we didn't get an email.
You did get a phone,
Disappointing.
you did get an email, and I could not make it to any of your meetings. I had a health department schedule, so I'm not getting out of that.
Well, if you
And
had
I
a part
also
of the
had-
schedule, why did you tell me you were gonna come?
I said I would try and come, okay? I made my best effort, and I'm looking forward to the rest of the year. I'll be at every meeting,
Terrific.
okay? And we can discuss again and maybe work things out,
Good. I'm looking forward to that.
All
So is the
right.
board.
okay?
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else who wishes to be heard?
How much time on the tape? I just want to know. I got a lot. I miss these guys. Tom Conboy, 135 Toilet Avenue, former councilman, proud resident of Elmwood Park. Happy New Year, everybody.
Just turn the microphone off. Tom will talk to the whole town without the microphone.
It's not snowing outside. You're all wrong. No, it's snowing. Happy New Year, everybody. Just a couple of things I'd like to just mention tonight, if I may. First, I'd like to ask a question to the mayor. And Mayor, then you can decide if you don't have the answers, who can best answer. At our last work meeting last year, we were advised by the borough clerk that there's a new guidelines coming from the state about there having to be a 3-person panel or a panel to review all the incoming or current professionals that would get appointed to different things. It's also part of, if I'm not mistaken, the governor's toolkit. And it was going to be weighed heavily because it was something new this year. And I had made mention at the meeting that I felt there should be the Personnel Committee, since at the end of the day, the Personnel Committee advises the council on hires. We also sit and recently negotiated the contract with DPW, began negotiations with the white collar contract, and personnel over all the years has done things like that with the consent and advice from the council. So could you just share with me who sat on the 3-person committee to review all? I heard 2 members so far. Who were the 3 members that sat on the committee?
Mr. Caravagna, Mr. Dombrowski, and Councilman, Mr. Coletti.
Okay. And did they, if I may ask, I'll just keep answering, Mayor, if you don't mind answering, or point me in the right direction. Did the committee meet together?
I don't know if they met together, they reviewed it, they weren't told they had to meet together, they just had to review the applications.
I thought recommendations needed to be made to the governing body by the 30th on who they felt, based on some system that was going to be outlined, on who those professionals or those appointments should be.
That should be gone over again at the next work meeting. We can go over all that.
Okay, but was there any kind of report shared with the rest of the governing body?
It was given
And at the
to,
time, the elected
it
officials?
was given to the clerk, I don't know if it was shared with everybody.
Okay. Was there a form that had to be filled out or an evaluation sheet?
Yes,
that
there
the
wa-
state provided?
Yes, there was.
Was it provided by the state? or
No,
was
it was generated by my office.
Was there a list of, I'm assuming probably some kind of questionnaire?
It was a rating system where there was a check-off list that all of the requirements that were advertised in the RFQ had been met, business registration, proof of insurance, et cetera, et cetera. And then there was a series of questions that needed to be answered, which were somewhat subjective by the reviewer as to how the rating system of a point system of 1 through 10. And then they had a total up, all the points added during the review process.
Is that final analysis, was it shared before the 30th? Which I understood at the meeting needed to be done before the appointments could be made.
Through you, Mayor, they were all compiled. Councilman Coletti compiled his individually. He spent some time in my office going through the process. I believe that council members Catamagna and Dombrowski did it together, although 2 different forms were filled out by each of them. And then they were available for review by any of the council members and the mayor from the time they were completed until tonight.
Okay. Was everybody advised that they were completed? I'm just asking some questions. I'm not going anywhere in particular.
I think so. Mr. Kazmark, you have to answer that question.
Yeah, I think verbally everybody was notified.
Oh, okay. And all that information is operable, requestable, I would imagine? I'm
Yes,
told?
yes, they're all attached to the RFQs as they were
I'll
submitted
bug you tomorrow. I'll bug you
by the
tomorrow.
vendors.
All right, because I heard a lot of data float around here tonight that there's this huge savings to the borough in one of the appointments, and you know, you can get 3 estimates from someone that come through your driveway, and by the time it's all said and done, you spend more than all 3 estimates put together. And I just want to say, serving on the council, of course, for 6 years, and serving all those 6 years, I guess nobody fought over to be finance chairman, so I just got it every year. I can only tell the people as a resident, and who, like everybody else in this room and all of us here, pay taxes in this town, I want to pay the least amount possible in these times. Boswell Engineering was outstanding. Not only, if I'm not mistaken, out of 70 municipalities, I think they're like in 60 some odd, if not in all 70. But I know they're at least 60 plus, if I'm not mistaken, at least they were at the time. I'm sure that number's still very high. They're well regarded throughout the entire state, throughout the county, respected. The Boswells are, as I think another resident said, who comes from the engineering firm, and I know Lou's in that area, Councilman Lazzino. It's not just, so you're going to save the town 15 to 20%, you hope, or some numbers like that I heard. But at the end of the day, the amount of monies that a Boswell brings to the table, because they are well known, so many different organizations, whether it's the county or at the state level, actually buy into whatever they know Boswell so well, and they know that Boswell squeezes every penny out of every dollar. Most of the time, the money you get is just because you have Boswell. And that's been a benefit to the community. And for the 3 years, I understand it's a 1-year appointment, but a lot of damage could happen in 1 year. In the 3 years that the previous engineer was here, they cost us more in 3 years than Boswell cost us the 3 years prior to that. So, you know, I think it's a shame that they didn't get reappointed. I didn't realize how important, I guess I missed something. I didn't realize how important, I saw that, thank you, Bob. I didn't know the rec was so negotiable and up for so many negotiability here tonight for some appointments. And it's just a shame. Matt DiMaria, again, talking from a finance standpoint, we usually try to listen to our judge. Again, they have to do it a lot. Many of us that have been here at meetings and court nights see how busy it is here, unfortunately. There's things that happen in our town. And the courts play a huge part in what happens, and that it gets facilitated correctly. And when I first got on council, as the mayor mentioned, Mr. DiMaria was an appointment left over from the Democrats, but because of the fact that the department was doing so well and flowing so well, we just reappointed him, because it was the right thing to do for the people of the town. Same thing with Ms. Boyle. Ms. Boyle is in the health profession. She runs a health center wellness area. She is well-versed in business. She has a very well-scoped knowledge on the health, and has played a major role in the shared services that we have done. I'm sure Councilman Patagano would contest, would agree with that. He's been their liaison. He's seen the great work they have done. Am I wrong in saying that?
You're correct.
Okay, so I don't see, all this to me is a game, and to correct Mr. DiLorenzo, last year was not the first year. 2 years ago, the state statute went into effect with the appointments to the rec board. And the mayor made those 2 appointments 2 years ago, and he made the appointments last year. So it's nothing new, and it's the state statute, and yes, Mr. Giblin did provide us that information. So I want to thank you for listening, and Happy New Year, and take care.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else want to be heard? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to pause while the videographer changes the tape, and then we're going to have 2 hours left over after 5 minutes. So may I have a motion just for a recess till he changes? Motion made by Mr. Martino, Mr. Coletti. Any discussion? All in favor, opposed, so ordered. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to resume our meeting. I'll ask once more if there's anyone in the audience who wishes to be heard. If not, I'll close the public portion of the meeting and...
Yeah, Jimmy.
Oh, Jimmy, I'm sorry, Mr. Golembeski. How fast?
Is it true that the new councilmen have to shovel the steps?
That's
No.
correct.
That would be the...
I'd like to wish everybody happy New Year.
No.
Congratulate Joe.
Only the,
Jim
Voter
Golembiski,
clerk.
153 Falmouth Ave, and also on the Board of Adjustments. I'd like to congratulate you two again, and thank you for the 2 appointees on the Board of Adjustments. And I wish you would reconsider Byron. His leadership qualities is very good for the board. That's one thing. The other thing...
How many years has he been chairman?
3, well, I guess 3, then I was 3, then I gave it back to him. I want to keep it more for him,
Okay.
and I'll do that again if you don't appoint him. I would miss him, the board would miss him. The other thing too is, a couple years back, while I was the chair, we got rid of Boswell Engineer, not on mine. I was for them, but we lost out. And let me tell you what a mistake it was. The company we had, which I will not name, did not show up to meetings. When they did give us reports, they were incomplete, inconclusive. So basically, the money you would be saving, I think, is a waste. They thought they were going to make 25, 10, 15%, and it just made us look bad as a board. Just Joe, Councilman, please rethink your issue. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else who wishes to be heard? If not, I'll conclude with giving the committees and the liaisons for 2014. And as I say every year, if there's any question about it by any of the councilmen, we can sit down and see if we can change some of these. In finance, Mr. Catamagna, who has been the finance chairman as councilman before, I have him as chairman. I have Mr. Martino and Mr. Boncino. In fire, I have Councilman Coletti, Mr. Dombrowski, and Mr. Martino. Councilman Coletti is the chairman. Insurance and ordinance, I have Mr. Dombrowski, Mr. Boncino, and Mr. Pedagano. Dombrowski is the chairman. Personnel, Councilman Martino is chairman, Dombrowski and Coletti. Police, Mr. Boncino is chairman, Catamagna and Dombrowski. And Department of Public Works and Buildings and Grounds, the chairman is Mr. Pedagano, Councilman Coletti, and Councilman Martino. Ambulance Corps, Councilman Boncino. Appointments, Mayor Mola. Board of Education, Councilman Catamagna, who requested it. Board of Health, Councilman Dombrowski. Board of Recreation, Councilman Pedagano. Homeowners, Councilman Martino. Since I'm the only veteran here, I'll go along with the Veterans Alliance. JIF representative with Councilman Coletti, and Planning Board representative, as was voted on, would be Mr. Catamagna. So I'll distribute these, and if there's any question, and we can sit down and not hurt anybody's feelings, we can be flexible on this.
Thank you.
Okay? Ladies and gentlemen,
Happy New Year, be careful.
excuse me? Ladies and gentlemen, may I wish everybody here happy, healthy, more important, healthy. You don't have to be too happy, but you can be healthy. 2014, please be careful on the way home. Try to use the ramp if steps aren't shoveled. And you shoveled them, Mr. Van Ryn? Mr. Ken Van Ryn, former councilman, shoveled the steps.
Thank you.
Thank you. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Mr. Boncino and Mr. Coletti, any discussion? All in favor, opposed?
Aye.
Thank you.